What if I told you that drinking more water during the day could actually be making your nighttime bathroom problem worse? And that almost everything you've been taught about hydration after 60 is, in many cases, exactly backwards. I'm Dr. Thomas, a board certified urologist with 26 years of experience treating bladder dysfunction, nocturia, and age related urinary conditions in adults over 60. I've sat across from more than 4,000 patients in my exam room, many of them in tears, convinced something was seriously wrong with them. In most cases, the answer wasn't a disease. It was a pattern nobody ever taught them to look for. If you're waking up 2, 3, 4 times a night, you are not broken. You are not just getting old, and you are not alone. Tonight, I'll walk you through 3 habits, counted down from 3 to 1. And habit number 1 will surprise you. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. Habit number 3, the evening shutdown window. So let's begin with number 3. And I want to start here because this is the habit that, on the surface, seems the most obvious. And yet, in 26 years of practice, it's the one I've watched more seniors get almost right and still fail. They cut back on water at night. They stop drinking after dinner. They think they've solved it. And they still wake up 3 times. Why? Because what matters isn't whether you stop drinking before bed. It's when you stop. And the window is more precise than almost anyone has told you. Here's what's happening inside your body as the sun goes down. Your kidneys are not passive filters. They're not like a coffee filter sitting there waiting for liquid to pass through. They are dynamic, rhythmic organs that change their behavior based on the time of day. During daylight hours, your kidneys are in what I call full production mode, filtering your blood rapidly, processing fluid efficiently, sending urine to your bladder at a steady, predictable rate. But as evening falls, something quiet and beautiful happens. A hormone called vasopressin, also known as antidiuretic hormone or ADH, begins to rise in your bloodstream. And vasopressin's job is simple. It taps your kidneys on the shoulder and says, slow down, concentrate the urine, give the bladder a chance to rest tonight. This is the body's design. This is how you were built to sleep through the night. Now, here's the metaphor I want you to hold on to. Think of vasopressin as the night shift manager at a factory. During the day, the floor is fully staffed and fast, efficient, ready for any volume. But at night, that manager is in charge and he's running a skeleton crew. If you send a normal workload through, no problem. The skeleton crew handles it quietly while you sleep. But if you flood the factory with extra work right before he clocks in, that warm cup of tea at 9:30, that glass of water just to take my pill, that bowl of soup at 8, the manager simply cannot keep up. The line backs up, the bladder fills, and at 1 a.m., your body rings the alarm bell. And here's the part that almost no one tells you. After the age of 60, that night shift manager doesn't show up as reliably as he used to. A study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society in 2019 found that adults over 65 produce up to 30% less vasopressin at night compared to adults in their 30s and 40s. 30% less. That means the exact same cup of chamomile tea that did nothing to a 40-year-old will tip a 70-year-old over the edge. This is not a disease. It is biology. But it is biology you have to work with, not against. And the research on this is remarkably clear. A 2020 study from the University of Toronto, published in the Journal of Urology, followed 412 adults with documented nocturia. The researchers had them implement a structured fluid cutoff, 2 to 3 hours before bedtime, no more drinking. Just that single change. After 6 weeks, their average nighttime trips to the bathroom dropped from 2.8 per night to 1.6. That's a 43% improvement. No medication, no procedure, no supplement, just timing. A separate study out of Maastricht University Medical Center in the Netherlands, published in 2018, confirmed the same finding in adults over 60. Evening fluid restriction reduced nighttime urine output volume by 38%. Let me tell you about Eleanor. Eleanor came to me last spring, 71 years old, retired librarian, lives alone in a 2-story home in Asheville, North Carolina. For 12 years, she'd been waking up 4 times a night. 4 times. And every single one of those wake ups meant walking down a hallway and a flight of stairs in the dark. She told me the first time I met her that she'd stopped sleeping in her upstairs bedroom because she was terrified of falling on those stairs at 2 a.m. She'd moved a daybed into the downstairs den. She'd been sleeping there for 2 years. When I asked about her evening routine, she described it like a ritual she was proud of. I have a cup of chamomile tea at 9:30 every night, doctor. It helps me wind down. She'd read somewhere years ago that chamomile was good for sleep, and it had become sacred to her. I didn't take the tea away. I told her to drink it earlier. 6:30 instead of 9:30. That was the only change for the first 2 weeks. She came back 18 days later. She was waking up once a night. Once. She looked at me across the desk and her eyes filled with tears, and she said, "For the first time in 12 years, I woke up and saw sunlight coming through the window. I had forgotten what that looked like." Last month, she moved back upstairs. Now, here is exactly how I want you to do this, starting tonight. Pick your usual bedtime. Let's say it's 10:30 in the evening. Count backwards 2.5 hours. That puts your cutoff at 8 o'clock. After 8, no more drinks. Not water, not tea, not soup, not juice. If your mouth feels dry, you can rinse it out or hold a small ice chip on your tongue. That won't add meaningful volume. Your last beverage before that cutoff should be small, 6 ounces or less. And it should not be caffeinated, and it should not be alcoholic. Both caffeine and alcohol interfere directly with vasopressin. They tell that night shift manager to take the evening off. Even a single glass of wine at dinner can amplify nighttime output by 20 to 30%. One more thing, and this is specific to those of you living here in the United States, where roughly half of adults over 65 are on at least one prescription medication. If you are taking a diuretic, that's any water pill, brand names like Lasix, hydrochlorothiazide, or chlorthalidone, please talk to your doctor about when you take it. Many seniors have been instructed by habit or by an outdated pharmacy label to take their water pill in the afternoon or evening. That single timing decision can be the difference between 3 trips to the bathroom and 1. Most diuretics work best taken first thing in the morning. Ask. It costs nothing to ask. Now here's the catch. If you only change when you stop drinking, without changing what happens during the day, you'll feel parched and frustrated by night 3, and you'll quit. Which brings us to habit number 2. The one that makes habit number 3 actually work, and the one that may be the single most important change you make this year. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now let's move on to point number 2. Habit number 2, front-loading your hydration. Number 2. And I want you to lean in for this one because if habit number 3 was about closing a door at the right time, habit number 2 is about opening a much bigger door, one that almost no one over 60 has been taught to open. Here's what I see in my exam room, week after week. A patient comes in. They tell me they're waking up 3 or 4 times a night. I ask them to keep a 48-hour fluid diary. Just write down what you drink and when. They come back, and the pattern is almost always identical. A small coffee at 7 in the morning, nothing else until lunch, a glass of water with the sandwich at noon, a second coffee at 2. Then, somewhere around 5 or 6 in the evening, they realize they've barely had any water all day. Guilt kicks in, so they pour a tall glass at dinner, another while watching the news, another with their evening medications, a small mug of tea before bed, and then they wonder why they're up at 1 a.m., and again at 3, and again at 5. The problem isn't how much they're drinking. It's that they've drunk it all at the wrong end of the day. They are giving the heaviest workload to the night shift manager we talked about, the one who is already understaffed after 60. This pattern is physiologically backwards, and it is one of the single most common drivers of nocturia in otherwise healthy American seniors. Here is the mechanism your body actually wants. Your kidneys process fluid most efficiently during the active, upright, alert hours of the day, roughly 7 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. During that window, your sodium regulation is sharp, your aldosterone is at its working level, and renal blood flow is at its peak. Your kidneys are, biologically speaking, ready for work. If you give them the bulk of your daily fluid, which for most adults sits somewhere between 1.5 and 2.5 liters, during that morning and early afternoon window, your kidneys clear it efficiently. Your bladder fills and empties at normal intervals through the day. And by evening, your body has already done the hard work. What's left in your bladder at bedtime is genuinely minimal. This is the front-loading principle, and it is one of the most studied interventions in modern nocturia care. A 2021 clinical trial from Seoul National University Hospital, published in Neurourology and Urodynamics, took 320 nocturia patients and split them into 2 groups. The control group drank water normally, without timing guidance. The intervention group was instructed to consume 70% of their daily fluid before 2 in the afternoon. After 8 weeks, the intervention group reported a 47% reduction in nighttime trips to the bathroom. The control group, 9%. A separate 2019 study from Keio University in Tokyo found that front-loaded hydration reduced mean nocturnal urine volume by 35% in men aged 55 to 75, 47%, from the timing of a glass of water. Now, before I tell you about Frank, I need to share something that surprises almost every patient I explain it to. After the age of 60, your thirst signal weakens. A foundational study from the University of California, San Francisco, published all the way back in 1992 and replicated many times since, showed that older adults feel measurably less thirsty than younger adults, even when their bodies are equally in need of water. By the time you actually feel thirsty in your 70s, you may already be mildly dehydrated. This is why so many seniors underdrink in the morning. They simply don't feel like drinking. And then habit and routine, dinner, the evening news, the bedtime pill, trigger them to catch up in the evening, the wrong way, at the wrong time. Let me tell you about Frank. Frank is 74, retired Navy mechanic, lives in Tampa, Florida with his wife of 48 years. Big man, big personality, used to working 12-hour shifts on aircraft carriers. He came to me convinced he had a prostate problem. He was waking up 3 to 4 times every night. He'd been to 2 other doctors. He'd had his prostate checked, mildly enlarged, but not bad enough to explain what he was experiencing. We did the fluid diary. And Frank's chart was almost a textbook of what not to do. Before 11 in the morning, Frank drank exactly 1 cup of black coffee. Nothing else. No water. He told me with a kind of pride, "I don't get thirsty in the morning, Doc. Never have." Then between 5 and 9 in the evening, while watching Tampa Bay Rays games, he drank close to a full liter of ice water, plus a beer with dinner. I didn't change what Frank drank. I flipped when he drank it. 12 ounces of water the moment his feet hit the floor. Before the coffee, before the phone, before anything. Another 12 ounces by 10 a.m., 8 ounces with lunch. After 2 p.m., small sips only. Hard stop at 7 p.m. 5 weeks later, Frank was down to one bathroom trip a night. One. He looked at me and he said something that stayed with me ever since. Doctor, I thought I was losing sleep because I was getting old. Turns out, I was losing sleep because I was drinking water like a 25-year-old working the night shift. That sentence captures something real. Most American seniors are not drinking the wrong amount of water. They are drinking the right amount on the wrong schedule. A schedule built for the body they had at 40, not the body they have today. Here is exactly how to start tomorrow morning. The moment you open your eyes, before coffee, before the news, before you check your phone, drink a full 12-ounce glass of water. Keep one on your nightstand if it helps. Then, before 10 a.m., drink another 12 ounces, 8 ounces with lunch. After 2 p.m., shift to small sips only, maybe 8 to 12 ounces spread across the whole afternoon. After 5 p.m., sip only when truly needed. And by 7, your day of drinking is done. One important note about coffee. Coffee does not count as water. It is a mild diuretic. If you drink 1 cup of coffee in the morning, add an extra 4 ounces of water to compensate. 2 cups, 8 extra ounces. This is one of the most common mistakes I see in my American patients. They assume their morning coffee covers their hydration. It does not. And here's the beautiful part. When you combine this front-loading habit with the evening cutoff from habit number 3, the two strategies don't just add together, they multiply. Your kidneys get the volume they need when they can handle it, and they get the rest they need when they can't. But here's what no one talks about. Even if you do both of these things perfectly, there is still one mechanism happening inside your body every single afternoon that is silently flooding your bladder the moment your head hits the pillow. And it has nothing to do with what you drink. Habit number 1 is what makes the entire system finally work. And it is the single most surprising thing I've learned in 26 years of practice. Habit number 1, the hidden flood, sodium and fluid redistribution. And here we are. Number 1, in 26 years of practice, this is the single concept that has transformed more of my patients' lives than any medication I've ever prescribed. And when I first explain it, almost every patient looks at me the same way, with complete and utter surprise, because what I'm about to tell you is the opposite of what almost every health article tells seniors. And it is the answer to a question you have probably been asking yourself for years. Why do I always wake up about an hour after I fall asleep, even when I haven't had anything to drink for hours? If that sounds like you, listen carefully, because the answer has almost nothing to do with your bladder. For many of us past 60, nighttime urination is not a bladder problem. It is a fluid redistribution problem. Let me explain. Throughout the day, if you eat a typical American diet, you are taking in around 3,400 milligrams of sodium. That's the CDC's average, nearly 50% more than recommended. And sodium has one job almost no one explains. It pulls water into your tissues and holds it there. Every extra milligram tucks water molecules into the soft tissues lowest to the ground. Your ankles, your calves, your feet. This is called peripheral edema. And in most seniors, it is so mild you can't even see it. Maybe a faint sock line at 5 p.m., maybe shoes that feel snugger, maybe nothing at all. But the fluid is there, quietly accumulating, and then you lie down. The moment your body goes horizontal, gravity stops working in your favor. That fluid, every ounce trapped in your legs for the last 12 hours, drains back into your bloodstream, up to your heart, straight to your kidneys. Your kidneys filter it, send it to your bladder. And About 60 to 90 minutes after you've fallen asleep, that bladder rings the alarm. This is why you wake up at 1 a.m. Not because of the cup of tea, not because your bladder is weak. The flood filling your bladder right now didn't come from your kitchen. It came from your ankles. Imagine your legs are two sponges. All day, they soak up extra fluid because of the salt in your diet and the pull of gravity. The moment you lie down, somebody squeezes those sponges out. Where does the water go? Straight to your bladder, right when you were finally trying to sleep. A landmark study from Nagasaki University, published in the Journal of Urology in 2017, enrolled 321 participants with nocturia. They lowered daily salt from 10.7 grams to 8 grams. The result? A 25% decrease in nighttime bathroom trips. A follow-up study from the same institution combined salt reduction with afternoon leg elevation and produced a 52% reduction in nocturnal urine volume. 52% from two things you can do for free. Let me tell you about Dorothy. Dorothy is 76. She lost her husband Charlie 4 years ago, and she's been living alone in a small bungalow in Sarasota, Florida. She came in waking up 4 to 5 times every night for over 3 years. She'd tried 2 medications. Pelvic floor therapy, nothing helped. We did a urine collection and dietary recall. Sodium intake, over 4,000 milligrams a day. Not from a salt shaker, she didn't even own one. From the things every American senior eats without thinking. Deli turkey sandwich for lunch, canned tomato soup most nights, a frozen lean cuisine on weekends. Her nighttime urine output was 68% of her total daily volume. Textbook nocturnal polyuria. We made 3 changes. Sodium under 2300. 40 minutes of afternoon leg elevation with a pillow under her calves while she watched the news. And we combined it with the other 2 habits. 8 weeks later, Dorothy was down to 1 or 2 trips per night. And in our follow-up, she said something I'll never forget. Doctor, last weekend I had my neighbor stay overnight in my guest room. First time in 4 years. I wasn't ashamed of being the woman who's up all night anymore. She wept in my office. I almost did too. Here's how to start tonight. First, read every label for 7 days. Aim under 2,300 milligrams of sodium. Watch the hidden culprits: bread, deli meat, canned soup, frozen dinners, restaurant meals. Second, every afternoon before dinner, elevate your legs for 30 to 45 minutes. Get your calves higher than your heart. Read. Call your grandchildren. Let gravity work for you. Third, combine all 3 habits. They don't add, they compound. 3 keys turning the same lock. But before you start any of this tonight, there is one more thing I need you to hear. Because for a small number of you watching, what I'm about to share could save your life. Important warning. Before you try anything I've taught you tonight, hear this. These habits work for the most common form of nocturia, but there are 5 warning signs that mean you need to call a urologist this week, not next month. Blood in your urine, even once. Burning or pain when you urinate. A sudden jump from 1 nightly trip to 4 within a few weeks. Ankle swelling with shortness of breath when you lie flat, or uncontrolled blood sugar if you have diabetes. These habits can wait. Your appointment cannot. Please pick up the phone tomorrow morning. So let's bring this home. Number 3, close the door 2.5 hours before bed and let vasopressin do its quiet work. Number 2, front load your water before 2 p.m. And number 1, lower the salt, lift your legs, and stop the silent flood before it ever reaches your bladder. 3 habits, 1 system, no prescription, no procedure, just your body, finally being given the rhythm it was waiting for. Your kidneys aren't broken. Your bladder isn't broken. You are not just getting old. You have a new set of instructions now. And tonight, for the first time in maybe years, you have them. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.